guys, this is another video that has been requested because I do talk a lot about sensory types of therapy and the tools that I use in sessions with children primarily, but why I also think this is a really beneficial tool for adults to help process anxiety and any kind of anxious, nervous energy or feelings in sessions. This is also really helpful for kids who have ADHD, adults who have some ADHD tendencies, and anyone who's a little bit hyperactive when they're talking or processing. So today I wanted to show you 5 fidgets that I use in my sessions that I think are really helpful, especially, like I say, for children, because children struggle a lot to process anxiety and emotions verbally. And fidgets are, if you were not aware kind of what they are sensory tools that are used to kind of help the nervous system relax, calm down, and give people something to play with while they're feeling anxious. So without further ado, here are 5 fidgets that I use in my sessions that I really enjoy and find are helpful. So number 5 is trusty Play-Doh. And you can also use kinetic sand. It has a very similar effect to Play-Doh. But basically, there's something about kind of the squishy effect that Play-Doh has, the ability to use Play-Doh for a stress-related sensory tool that is really great for children and adults. Not necessarily building with, because I think that's more of a distraction than a fidget, but I will also get kids to show me their emotions in Play-Doh, so like to build a face or to show me what their worried face looks like with Play-Doh. So that's another use for this fidget. Why I find it great is that Play-Doh is really cheap. It does dry out pretty quickly, especially when being used for this kind of sensory squeezing and playing with purpose during a session, but it's really cheap, it's affordable, easy to get. You can get Play-Doh anywhere. Like I say, if you also have access to kinetic sand, it's kind of a similar effect, and that lasts a bit longer, but it can be a bit messier than Play-Doh, I find. So for me, especially if I'm kind of traveling around doing therapy, Play-Doh is a great tool. Number 4 fidget that I really enjoy using at work are stress balls. Stress balls come in all different kinds of textures. So some kids prefer like a firmer stress ball. Sometimes they prefer a more soft kind of gel-like ball. You can also get stress balls that have multiple different kind of feelings and textures inside them. I find stress balls great because they're relatively non-distracting. Stress balls can be a great tool. I think especially in adult therapy, a stress ball is a great tool to give someone who presents as kind of anxious. They also are great because you can use them at work. So I have stress balls all the time on my desk, and I squeeze them while I'm typing, I squeeze them while I'm doing other things, and they help me to process, again, like I say, that nervous energy. You can get stress balls anywhere, like from the dollar store to toy stores to places like Walmart. And you can also order them online. There's a bunch of different cool fidget websites, like Fidgetland being one of them, and there's a few others. So check these out if you want a good place to start and just kind of a very basic fidget tool. My number 3 fidget tool is anything that is related to building. So a cool one that I got recently was this. They're called Plus Plus. I have no idea. They're made in Denmark. But these are just really easy for me to carry around in my suitcase while I'm doing therapy. The other great one is Lego, obviously, or like Connects, anything like that. These can be great for kids that find it hard to talk or kind of express their feelings unless they're doing something. I find that they're really easy to piece together. Plus Plus are pretty awesome, and there's actually a website, www.plus-plus.us, so in case you were wanting some of these particularly. But like I say, Lego works good too. They're great because you just kids can focus on building these and they'll talk to you while they're doing it. It feels a little bit less threatening, especially if you're working with your own kids and just trying to get them to talk and be less anxious, give them something to do with their hands. There's kind of endless, oh, I'm dropping them everywhere, and that is one downside. They're small, so they're kind of messy, but it's a really great way to, have endless possibilities and have kids kind of be distracted and have a place to put, again, this nervous energy while they're processing and while they're talking to you. So some people are under the impression that if a kid is distracted or if they're doing something different, they're not listening. I really don't agree with that view, and I think that it's a big downside of our educational systems, hindering kids of learning, really, because I know for me as a child, I loved to draw, doodle, sketch, build, do any of that kind of stuff while I was learning, and it helped me to have somewhere to kind of channel my focus while I was listening. So these are a great tool for that type of purpose. My number 2 fidget toy is called the Tangle. So this one is actually just ones I got free, but they're awesome. Tangles are just basically what they sound like. They're kind of tools where you can tangle them up, you can play with them while you're talking, you can unravel them, you can kind of do whatever you want, and basically any way you pull them, they will come undone. These are great for especially older kids, teens. I use them again. These are another thing that I'll have at my desk or that even I will use and play with while I'm talking to someone, just so that they don't feel like they're playing alone with them. It helps me to focus as well as a practitioner, and they just feel really nice in your hands. You can get textured tangles, which are great as well, and they have like little bumps and grooves on them, so they just feel really nice for your nervous system on your hands. I recommend them because they're small, they're easy to get, they're cheap. Especially kids with ADHD, tangles are really good for those kids. So this is the Tangle. And you can get these at toy stores a lot of the time. You can also find them online. Like I say, they are branded by a company called Tangle, so I'm sure you can find them by just Googling. My number 1 fidget toy that I find is great in sessions, it's great with kids and adults, is this weighted hand fidget. So they have all different names, and I actually don't know what the official name for this is, but they're pretty cool. Like, they spin, and they can be held in your hand. So again, I really like this for an adult or an older person fidget tool, but it's also a great one for kids at school because it's not really super distracting. It's just a sensory experience for them. It's something that can, again, help them to kind of regulate while they're listening. So it feels amazing. And I love playing with it. Like, I will end up sitting and playing with this for hours. And I am not a child with ADHD. So I can imagine, like, for a kid with sensory issues, for a kid who's nervous or anxious, or even an adult who's nervous or anxious with some ADHD issues, this would be a great tool just to have to help them focus, to help them have a place to kind of put that energy rather than running around causing chaos in the classroom or whatever it might be. So this is my number 1 fidget tool. I love it. I think it's really kind of unassuming. It looks like it's like a keychain or something, so I think it can kind of be brought anywhere. And again, they're really affordable. So you can find these on kind of Fidgetland. You can find them at toy stores. I got mine at Mastermind Toys, but you can get them from a whole bunch of different places. So those are my top 5 fidgets. Other things to remember are that even just things like markers, coloring, pencil, I love those paintbrush markers, which I'll show you. Actually, I have some here. So they're like these. They have a paintbrush end. Fidgets don't have to be expensive. They don't have to be unaffordable. But if you have, like I say, children, or if you have struggles as an adult with kind of ADHD, hyperactivity, or you get really anxious and you just need something in your hands to help calm your nervous system, these are great tools for that. If you have any more questions about fidgets or why I really find them beneficial, what I like about them, you can definitely ask me below, and I can always make more videos on this topic. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/youcounseling, no gap. And also below, I've also included my link to my free ebook on anxiety reduction. It has some great sensory tools in there too. And My course is a 21-day course, Becoming Zen. It's a mindfulness detox, but it's again a really great tool for people who struggle with anxiety, who don't know how to put kind of strategies into place in their daily lives to help minimize anxiety. So those links are below. They're really affordable. Have a great week.